Right now on Denver 7 News at 4, pack your patience for those summer trips.
And what travelers can expect this summer, we have a lot of work going on.
With hundreds of miles of I-70 getting a facelift, what's being done to try to ease the pain?
There are concerns as more states adopt permitless carry laws. It'll mean more guns on the streets and more crime. We're getting answers on whether that's actually true. And Ancestry DNA kits have been helping solve more cold cases. How similar technology could also help solve mysteries in our oceans.
But we start today with breaking news. Broadway is shut down just a few blocks from the Denver 7 studios as police investigate the shooting of 2 people. That closure coming just as downtown workers are heading home for the weekend. Patrick Perez is near the scene at 3rd and Broadway. Patrick, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Jason, I can tell you that unfortunately this was a deadly shooting. Let me show you the scene right now. This happened at about 1 o'clock here in the parking lot of Enterprise Rent-A-Car. You can actually see in the distance those blue evidence markers where this shooting happened here on 3rd and Broadway. Now, I want to take you to some video from above that shows you just how large this crime scene is right now. From what we can see, it extends from 3rd Avenue to 4th Avenue, with 5th Avenue also closed. Now, closer to the ground, you can also see what a large police presence we had earlier in the day. Police tell us that a man and a woman were shot in the parking lot of this Enterprise. The accused shooter then ran away and was later spotted by a witness, and police ended up taking that man into custody. But police are still looking for a person of interest. That is a woman who was with that accused shooter at the time of the shooting. She is believed to be in a silver Chrysler 200 with a Colorado license plate of ALO I-76. Police say they don't know if the woman in that car is armed, so do not approach that car. Instead, call police if you do see it. Right now, police don't have any known motive, but we do know that the victims, unfortunately, in this shooting were customers of Enterprise. Once we learn anything new, Jason, we'll definitely pass it along. But for now, I'm live in Denver. Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
Still feeling those traffic impacts as well. Patrick, thank you. Now, before they wrap up the end of the legislative session, lawmakers are hoping to pass a couple of oil and gas bills. One of them would create a fee-based enterprise that oil and gas operators would have to pay into. Now, that money would then be used to plug orphaned wells in the state. Now, wells become orphaned when a company goes out of business or doesn't spend the time or money to safely plug it. State data puts the number of orphaned wells in Colorado around 625. It costs upwards of $100,000 to plug each one of those.
As you look around, the industry members that we have today are very responsible folks. Nobody ever wants a repeat of what happened in Firestone, which was kind of unrelated to an orphan well, but it had some connection to that. So I think everybody wants to get on the same page, and I believe Senate Bill 198 will help us do that.
The federal government is also contributing tens of millions to help cap some of these orphaned wells. This bill would make sure the funding remains for abandoned wells in the future. The Colorado Cashback plan advanced out of the House Finance Committee at the Capitol, so we might be getting state refund checks sooner. The Colorado Cashback plan would give single filers $400 and $800 for joint filers. Now, these are Tabor early refund checks, which we typically get every spring. Lawmakers want Coloradans to get this money by August or September. It was a solemn scene outside of the Colorado State Patrol's training academy today. Friends and family gathered to remember the lives of 17 law enforcement officers whose names were added to the state's law enforcement memorial. 9 of those officers died last year, including Boulder's Eric Talley and Arvada's Gordon Beasley. Today's additions bring the total number of names engraved on that memorial to 342. If you're driving anywhere along I-70 west of Denver this summer, you're going to see a whole lot of these orange construction signs. CDOT is planning summer construction projects from Golden all the way to Grand Junction. Planners know there's really no such thing as a good time to work on the state's main east-west artery, so a lot of this work will be done overnight.
Even with lighter traffic, though, it's critical that drivers heed the signs, slow down, and pay extra attention to keep everyone safe.
Some of the first work that you're going to see are paving projects between Chief Hosa and Floyd Hill, as well as on the west side of the Eisenhower and Johnson tunnels.
Hiring is still solid in the United States. New numbers out today show jobs added last month hit 428,000. There were some predictions it might be lower than 400,000 with inflation and ongoing supply chain issues. The unemployment rate is also still very low at just over 3.5%. There are still about 1 million fewer available jobs than before the pandemic. Small businesses have been on a roller coaster over the last 2 years. So how are they doing now? What's next at the end of this National Small Business Week?
My business really came out of the 2008 recession. And this pivot is coming out of the pandemic and all of this chaos around us. And so while these are very difficult times to navigate, I think they're also really important times where people have stepped back and thought hard about their priorities and what they want to do.
Jennifer Piet did farm-to-table food delivery for 12 years. Then came the pandemic. Now, initially, sales were up for her. She got a Paycheck Protection Program loan to help pay workers who needed to stay home while COVID was surging. Then in the middle of last year, sales for her dropped off as more people went back to restaurants. She's now pivoting her business to corporate gifting with the help of a federal loan.
I don't know that we're just going back to normal. I think we're in a process of evolution, and people have to be flexible.
Now, she sees women entrepreneurs getting more visibility now. Overall, the number of new entrepreneurs was higher in both 2020 and 2021 compared to before the pandemic, and that's expected to continue through this year.
These trends are reversing really what has been decades-long decline in American entrepreneurship. The other thing that I think is really powerful is that America's new entrepreneurs are increasingly diverse.
Courtney Allen is one of those new entrepreneurs. She's set to launch a mobile coffee shop this year, but says financing has been pretty tough. She's working on getting grants, but so far has been able to get personal loans.
I noticed a lot of funding opportunities were geared towards either, companies that had 5 or more employees. They were still considered small business, but they had at least 5 or more employees, or they had at least this amount in revenue per year.
Lou Soratia with Axion Opportunity Fund also sees inflation impacting small businesses that are just getting started. She and other community development financial institutions are trying to help by providing low-cost loans, particularly to women and people of color.
It's going to take the generation and the creation of these businesses to boost the local and national economies, and we need to give small businesses a capacity to be able to rebuild with providing capital.
Business owners can get connected with free help and coaching at aofund.org. The number of places allowing permitless carry is growing, and some are worried about the impact this is having.
I wouldn't say that he got killed because of the law, but the law is a part of it.
We're getting answers on what laws allowing gun owners to carry a weapon in public without a permit mean for crime rates.
And temperatures are rising just in time for the weekend. Stacy's up next with the numbers. And hot summers mean dry conditions in Colorado. We'll take a look at what you can do to protect your home from those inevitable summer wildfires.